Leroy and Cerrone, they've been here before. Leroy lurking, eyes locked in, and he pulls it loose. He's got the steal with 5 seconds left. He looks up, finds Cerrone. Cerrone catches, steps into it. A 3 for the win. He hit it. Cerrone from downtown. Leroy to Cerrone. They have done it again. They've done it again.
Yes, sir. Good afternoon, everybody. What up, Boston? What up, Greater Boston? What up, New England? How y'all feeling today? I know. It was just a preseason game. I know. Tom Brady being celebrated once again. I know. But it feels good. Y'all know the deal. The number is 617-779-0985. You can stream us. We're also on YouTube Live. Cerrone Battle is not only up in the building. He's not just in the building. But last night, Cerrone Battle was in the building. Talking about Gillette Stadium. Feet away from the great one, Tom Brady.
Almost touched the hem of his garment.
Almost
got healed right there.
I heard you were sick before you went there. And somehow, some way, you came out feeling better. That's what I'm talking about. Oh, man, we're going to have a lot of fun today. I'm excited. Obviously, we got to talk about Tom Brady, the statue, the Patriots, the preseason game, the win. You got the Celtics, Joe Mazzulla. Oh, and we ain't going to forget Shador Sanders. Oh, one of the most polarizing athletes in sports today. He has the people talking, so we got to talk about that. Now, before we get started, y'all know the deal. We got to introduce the music of the day. So, just so you know, today's show is dedicated to Tom Brady. It's not that hard to figure out why. So we're going to throw a little Jay-Z in there and stuff because I think it's kind of clear Jay-Z is Tom Brady's guy. I mean, you hear that right there, PSA. Brings back good memories, don't it?
It's good times.
But also, we are doing something different today. Woo! So Cerrone and I, we always talk during the week. It'd be about random stuff. It could be about an L that one of us took in a video game or something, but we're always talking. And we knew that, obviously, the day was coming up when Tom Brady's statue would be unveiled. And we said, we got to do something special. The truth of the matter is, when you really, really think about it, Tom Brady's career was sort of like watching a movie. It was a movie. And so we said, all right, if that's the case, then let's do the Masterpiece Theater Tom Brady edition. What is that? Let me explain. Without going into this old show, because it's an old show. We're just taking it, and we're taking some of our favorite movies scores, pieces, and putting them to some of the classic moments of Tom Brady's career, since it was a movie. So let me read off the first one just so you know. And we have 12 of them. 12. And we'll be playing them every time we come back from commercial break. The first one is January 19th, 2002, AFC Divisional Round versus Oakland. Y'all know what it is. I believe Joe Murray was in the building for that one. Brady's 6-yard TD run through the snow with 8:29 to go in the fourth quarter. Cut the Oakland lead from 13-3 to 13-10. It's the Tuck Rule game, y'all. The last game at Foxborough Stadium. And the Patriots would defeat Oakland 16-13 in overtime. Enjoy the theater.
Patriots going again without a huddle. Slots to both sides of the field. To the right of Brady in the backfield is J.R. Redmond. Second and goal to go with the Raiders. Snip 6, the snap to Brady. Looks, stands, starts to run with it. He is down to the 5, and he's in. Touchdown! Tom Brady runs in for a touchdown with 7:52 to play in the football game. The Patriots are back in it.
I want to talk over this so bad, but can you feel it? Woo! All afternoon long. We are here until 5 p.m. Masterpiece Theater, the Tom Brady edition. Cerrone, what do you got to say? I can see you just itching.
The image of him spiking the ball. I know we're going to get into the stature stuff in a minute.
Yep.
The image of that touchdown and him spiking it. First of all, watching it on TV and not knowing where the end zone was is one of the crazy memories from that game, from that moment. Like, did he get in? Was he celebrating for it? Like, anyway, him spiking that ball, I know they didn't make that the statue. I don't think a lot of people even put that up as an idea for the statue. But was that like the first major, like, important touchdown? Like, first major image of Tom Brady was that spike with the snow coming up? Like, that moment right there. Like, I don't know if we thought they were going to win the game at that point, but looking back at it, was that the first, like, important moment of Tom Brady's career? Like, the first big Tom Brady, there's something here moment of his career.
I think you're absolutely right. I remember that. I would go a little bit further and say that was the first moment I felt connected to him. Mm-hmm. Like, oh,
he became a fan favorite. Not a fan favorite, but yes, I became a guy that I'd buy his jersey.
Yeah,
you
like,
know what I'm saying?
Oh, this guy's different. He's passionate, and he doesn't mind, honestly, making a fool of himself because he slips and falls.
Yeah.
It don't matter. He's here to win. And that was the first time, I know for me, where there was like this connection. I'm like, oh, okay, that's my quarterback right there.
Yeah, I think I always look at that and look at the image of that and like there was something about that moment. Of course, obviously, a chance to win the game, getting it closer, when it seems like they really couldn't get anything going. I think that play and that touchdown kind of changed people's idea about him, about the team, and could they win this game? You know, I just think that was a turning point. That was the turning point in believing in, which would become the legend of Tom Brady.
Cerrone, I got to ask you this question. We got about 4 minutes before we got to take a break. Obviously, we're going to get into a whole bunch of other stuff. The preseason game, like I said, Celtics, Missoula, a whole bunch. Shador Sanders, we're going to get into it. But if Tom Brady's career truly was like a movie, and I need you to consider everything that happened on and off the field. If his career was a movie, and again, people, you can chime in on this too. We're not going to make it a whole break. It's not something we're going to carry on, but if you want to, chime in, feel free. 617-779-0985. If Tom Brady's career truly was like a movie, Cerrone, considering everything that happened on and off the field, what was it rated? Was his career rated G, PG, PG-13, R, X-rated?
You know what? Early on, okay, this is weird. For those old enough, you'd get it. If you've seen this movie, if you've been around long enough, you've all seen the movie Poltergeist, right? Classic. Creature under the bed, tree eating the kids, guy's face falling in the sink. Classic Spielberg movie. One of the scariest movies of anybody's life. Like, if you grew up and you saw that as a child, teenager, whatever, it messed you up. It was long too. This kid goes missing in the TV. As crazy as it was, that movie was rated PG. That was a kid's movie.
Oh, really?
But it had everything. And I'm not going to say his career was PG. I would say the first half of it was PG-13. It was the great Hollywood story. It was like a Disney movie. But I think Spygate moment turned into, it was rated R. Man.
Rated R.
It was almost NC-17 at that point. It went to another level. And I think his attitude went to another level. Running up the score, Arlen Specter and the House committee stuff, trying to, the Spygate stuff, government involved, all the way down to Deflategate. Now he's in federal court. Them saying, so what, still winning. I think it turned into a straight up rated R Netflix documentary. But you got to say it's a rated R career with all the stuff that went into leaving the team, going somewhere else and winning the big breakup at the end, all that. I mean, the stuff with his trainer. Excuse me. It was a movie, but yeah, it started off as a Disney movie, but it was straight Martin Scorsese at the end of it. It was like a mob movie by the time you got to the end. But yeah, it's a rated R career. But I'm glad we got to see it up close and personal.
Oh man!
And I know we've said this 1,000 times before. We're never going to see anything like that again in sports.
Never.
In no sport, in any sport, even on a college level, you're not going to see that kind of dominance again.
I was leaning towards PG-13. But then again, like I said, you got to take into consideration everything that happened on and off the field. And some stuff wasn't even his fault, but because he was around it, you kind of got to be like, I think about certain teammates he had.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, at the end of the day, if Tom Brady's
Tom
career
Brady was in federal court.
Right. If his career was a movie, that movie was rated R. That was rated R.
If they made a movie about it, you'd have to make it rated R.
You'd have
like
to.
a behind the scenes, like what he was really going through, feeling, things he was probably saying.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, there's nothing, you can't sugarcoat any part of that. Like I said, the first 3 Super Bowls, great story. It was fun. Like, they were a dominant team, dynasty. But I think after that, after he won the first 3, it turned into a grown-up movie. And on and off the field, the relationships that he's gone through, the wife, all the divorce of the supermodel, all that stuff. Oh, it's an absolute rated R movie.
All right. Well, when we get back, we got to touch on a few more things before we get to the present-day New England Patriots. The statue. And for the record, once again, Cerrone Battle was there.
Oh, man.
I mean, you
a lot
was
of people were there.
No, you was there.
A lot of people.
You was on the sidelines at one point. I thought you was going to start coaching. But we got to talk about all of that. Again, the number is 617-779-0985. Y'all know the deal. We're all family. Hit us up. Let us know how you're feeling about last night, about the statue, about the game, all that. Tell a friend to tell a friend. I'm Leroy Irvin. He's Cerrone Battle. It's 985 The Sports Hub.
More Leroy Irvin. Leroy and Cerrone on Boston's Home for Sports, 98.5 The Sports Hub.
Was where it pretty much all started. That was the Super Bowl against the Rams, the first one. I mean, just time is just flown by. It's unbelievable.
that catch in that moment, you're sitting there like, wait a minute, they might win this game. It was, even though you knew they were in a situation where they could win the game. Troy Brown makes that play, clock stops, all those things. You're like, wait, they
about to do this.
They're really gonna win this game. They're not going to overtime? They got a chance to win the Super Bowl? Wait a minute. And you're like, wait a minute, how close are they? Wait. And it's starting to register like, wait a minute. I know the Patriots aren't about to win the Super Bowl. I know they're not about to beat the Rams.
Oh, yeah.
And, hey, first football game ever watched with my wife.
Really?
Yep. We weren't even a couple. It was me, her, and like a couple family members. A long story. Yeah. First time I ever sat and watched. That's the first football game she ever watched all the way through. And I'm sitting there like, I can't act a fool if they win and she's sitting here. It was crazy.
Did we link up after?
No, not that Super Bowl.
It wasn't that one.
No.
Dang.
Nah, it was many more.
So many Super Bowls.
So many.
Hit the streets. I remember going down the Blue Hill Ave and the buses were going by just beeping. Everyone was just beeping the horns and going crazy.
Boylston Street, right out front. Well, it looks where the Under Armour store is now.
Yep.
I just went out there and just posted up and just sat there on the wall and watched the people were flipping cars over on Boylston and all that stuff. But they were throwing tissue on the buses, like across the buses and stuff like that. And people were just everywhere. And I just sat there still in disbelief with my Drew Bledsoe jersey on. Like, yo, they just won the Super Bowl. Like, I don't remember watching SportsCenter. None of that stuff because it immediately just left the house, just went out. And it was a great evening.
Wow. Well, last night, Cerrone, you were there for everything, the game and for the statue. I'm just going to put it out there. I'm not a huge fan of the statue. When they pulled the sheet off, I was like, what? And let me explain why. I'm not saying that it's a terrible statue by any means. I feel as though art is supposed to pull some type of emotion from you, and I felt nothing. I was expecting something where you felt, or it reminded you of a time where he did give an emotion. It doesn't necessarily mean it had to be of him screaming or yelling or saying "let's go," but like I used to love
that. Would have been perfect.
That would have been great. But you know what else would have been great too, in my opinion? When he'd be in the middle of the game and it's just frantic, and he breaks the pocket, and his hands are in the
hand warmers,
and he's just sitting back, kind of with a little lean back, and he's just surveying the defense, and he's got that look in his eyes.
You could even have the one hand in with him pointing.
Oh,
like
my. Yeah, I'm like that, but we got what we got. It's cool. It's great. Cerrone, you was there. I'm going to sit back. Can you just tell us all, for those who weren't there last night, how did it feel? How did it go down?
It was, I tell you, that whole area was packed. People were sitting up everywhere. And a real cool moment, too, where I was standing, where the players come out right underneath, next to the lighthouse with that little bridge. Where the players come out, that's where Brady and Kraft came out that way. Then they went around. Washington players were on the field stretching and doing all this stuff. They had their warm-ups on. A ton of Washington players came sprinting over. Like, coming through security. Let me see.
Oh, wow.
They came running over so they can see it, but then they put it up on the screen. So the Washington players were watching it on the screen on the field, and a couple of them came up behind me and was watching it to see it in person. And I always forget, Tom Brady's the only not superstar. He's the greatest star they've ever seen. These young players, if they're 25 years old, all they know is Tom Brady winning. They were just as excited as the Patriot fans to see that. I thought that was cool. But the amount of people that was around, the amount of people had their kids on their shoulders, you can probably see all that stuff on TV. But when they pulled the curtain, there was a huge chair. You could hear the chair in the stadium and all that stuff. Then he got up there and started talking. But it wasn't like euphoria. Like, oh, my God.
Mm-hmm.
But later on when I left, it was dark. They had the lighting on it. Now it looked like – now it looks special.
Okay.
Once it was dark, and I got a video of it. It's on my Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it. Then it looked cool. And another thing, the way the lighting is set up, I got a picture. I'll put it on X. The lighting hits it from different angles. The silhouette of the shadow is on the wall under the bridge. So as you're looking on, you see field level. As you're looking on the field level to the right inside is the silhouette of the shadow, and it covers the whole. I said, "Oh, that's clean. That's kind of clean." But the statue with the lighting and stuff at night, I thought it was pretty dope. And the crowd was gathered around it later at night taking pictures and kind of like it was like a religious thing sitting out there, the way people standing out there. But once I saw it after the game and looked at it up close and all that stuff, I said, man, this is pretty cool. This is pretty cool statue. And it wasn't like a D Wade statue. And I think the coolest statue out there is Jordan's because it's a Jumpman logo. And I think that's why we feel some attachment to it. Mm-hmm. But this is it's a real cool piece up there with Tom Brady. And I think as time goes on, it's going to be something that you're going to see when they come back from commercial or have games on national TV. They're going to have the camera pan around it. And I think that's going to be a huge thing. And I can't wait to see what they do with that area now that that's up. What other things are they going to put around there, put out there?
You were mentioning off air the detail on the statue. Can you just speak into that?
Well, from the sneakers to the top of his head, the Under Armour shoes, the details like the laces, the side of the shoes, the helmet. Like you can see all that stuff if you look up close. And at first when they pulled, I wasn't that close to it to where you can see it like that. You couldn't tell. But like I said, you get out there later, the crowd's kind of, I wouldn't say they're gone, the crowd's small. You can really look at it. And there's a video out there, I think Patriots put it out there, of them actually making it. And you can see all the little detail in the uniform, the Nike NFL uniform, the Under Armour shoes, the stitching in the uniform, the helmet, all those cool things it is. So I appreciated it way more after the game than I did once they just ripped the curtain, the tarp off or whatever.
Would you say that the initial reaction from the people who were there, including Brady, this is just I'm watching from home.
See, I couldn't see him because I didn't see the TV broadcast. The TV broadcast was on the screens. But I was looking because I didn't. Once the flames went up, I was just looking over the top of the crowd.
Yep.
So I didn't see his reaction until later on in the news. But I got a feeling he already saw it.
Was the reaction underwhelming to you, being there? Did you think you were going to hear more? Or
no, the crowd was loud. And he just put his face up there. They started screaming. I think it didn't matter. I think some felt kind of underwhelmed. I think they wanted their own personal image. Mm-hmm. Everybody had their own thought of what it should be. And I think that might have been the underwhelming part. Oh, man, I wanted it to be that picture. Oh, I wanted it to be this moment. And I think there was no way you'd have pleased everybody because he had so many great moments, so many great images.
Yeah, 617-779-0985. You can let us know how you felt or feel about the statue. We're going to take another quick break. When we get back, it's time to get to the present-day Pats. To be honest, Cerrone, it felt like last night with the statue, it was kind of like wrapping up the past and
that's a good point.
And being okay with we're going to celebrate it from time to time. We'll talk about it, but we're not going to do it as much as we used to. It's time to move on to the present day Pats and the future. And we got a glimpse of that last night, game 1 of the preseason. Cerrone was almost a coach, I swear. So we'll get some feedback from him concerning today's Patriots. It's 98.5 The Sports Hub.
You're listening to Leroy. Taking your calls, giving hot takes. Leroy Irvin and Cerrone battle on 98.5 The Sports Hub.
All right, welcome back, 985 The Sports Hub. Leroy and Cerrone. And we are on to clip number 3, the Masterpiece Theater Tom Brady edition. Let me set the scene. It was February 1st, 2004, Super Bowl 38 versus Carolina. Brady, a 1-yard TD pass to Mike Vrabel to give the Patriots back the lead with 2:58 left in the fourth quarter. It's 29-22 after a successful 2-point conversion. After the Panthers connected on an 85-yard pass connection from Jake Delhomme to Muhammad to give the Panthers a 22-21 lead. Tom Brady held serve, capping off an 11-play, 65-yard drive with a 1-yard TD pass to, once again, the current head coach of your New England Patriots, Mike Vrabel.
Second down and goal to go at the Carolina 1.5-yard line. They break the huddle with 3 tight ends. Seymour, the fullback, offset right, play action fake. Brady fires, touchdown! Touchdown in the end zone to Mike Vrabel! Tom Brady, 1.5 yards to Mike Vrabel. Patriots take the lead.
Once again, what a time. What a time to be alive. Speaking of Mike Vrabel, obviously you all know he is the head coach of the New England Patriots. Cerrone, you were there again. I swear on everything. I thought you was going to be caught on TV coaching.
I thought I was going to get caught and thrown in jail. Hey, I pushed the limits to that media pass, to tell you that.
Just real quick, I know it's a preseason game, and you have people say you can't look too much into it, but you got to be able to take something from it.
If they would have lost 48-18, we'd be looking into it.
Right. It felt like the team, and maybe this isn't really a big surprise, were organized, and they played with an edge. And I'm not sure if that's something if they're going to be able to maintain that. I don't know if it was because there was excitement just being able to get out there for the first time this season, regardless of it being a preseason game. But especially looking at the running backs, I was like, they were out there running and inflicting pain. And I was like, ooh, I didn't expect this.
Yeah,
and that's something that I really, really am hoping that they hold on to. But again, it's a different experience when you're there. You were there. Just your thoughts in general about the Patriots.
Well, you can see it. It showed on TV. And from the first snap, Will Campbell was throwing people out the club.
Ooh.
He was to the whistle. Yeah, Will Campbell was letting everybody know he wasn't playing any games. And the offensive line, we start there. Still one of the biggest concerns with this team, one of the most talked about issues with this team last few years. I didn't see anything of concern with the offensive line. Go back 1 year ago. I think they were playing Washington again, preseason game. Not lining up right. Okafor on the left side. 4 times on one drive last year, he couldn't line up right. Zoe almost lost it. He's like, Mayo's got to do something about this dude. They couldn't line up. The center position, holding, false start. The offensive line, you knew in the preseason it was going to be a mess. Last night, sitting there, Alex Barb sitting next to me and Gasper was to my right. I said, man, one thing I noticed off the jump, even when they broke the huddle, the way they broke the huddle and the offensive line lined up, it was just something with purpose. If you could see it, if you go back and watch the game, just watch when they break the huddle, watch the way the offensive line just got down in their stance and the way they lined up. They knew what they were doing. And, hey, did I get on here and get all over them, get rid of Mayo quick? Yep, I sure did. Just didn't think he had the roster or the talent to make any noise. Winning 4 games was a miracle. But someone had them so disciplined that they knew what they were doing. They knew where to be. They knew their assignments. You didn't see any holdings. I'm talking about the starting units.
Right.
First half, no holding calls, no one lined up wrong. The play clock wasn't running down. Everything was with purpose. Things you see in the preseason, you always see somebody, they got to take a timeout, or you get a delay of game, false starts, bobbling the snap. You didn't see any of that stuff from the offensive line. They had 106 yards rushing in the first half, using 3 different running backs. They were throwing people out of the club. And to me, their discipline and the way they look is what stood out the most for me from the offensive line. Will Campbell stood strong. I thought they kept Drake Maye clean, except for that one play where he fumbled the ball. You saw both rookies kind of get confused there on a look like an inside stunt, and both of them kind of got caught by that. But Maye has to hold on to that. He can't try and make a play in that situation. And they Vrabel addressed it after the game. But before and after that, they were clean. Now, they're going to have stretches where it gets tougher? Yes. When they play starters for 60 minutes, it's going to get tougher. But from all we can go by is practice, preseason, the offensive line looked like a real unit. It didn't look like the worst thing we've seen on a football team like we've seen in previous seasons, especially last year. So I thought everything about them looked like a clean operation. They look like a team. Like, you looking at them, you wouldn't know that the other team was a playoff team last year. You didn't know that. And I know people are going to say, well, Jaden Daniels didn't play. Yeah, the Patriots missed some guys too. You see what I'm saying? They're missing key guys. Stephon Diggs was out there. He wasn't out there. And Gonzalez and Davis, they were missing guys. But just the way they looked as a team, looked like a professional team, is something that it should get people, pretty excited for coming up the next few weeks.
At some point, I do want to get back on Drake Maye and the wide receivers and talk about that a little bit. But you mentioned the running game. And, Travion Henderson, Gibson, and Ramondre Stevenson, correct me if I'm wrong, while I was sitting there watching, it felt like they were saying, all right, let's figure out what the rotation is going to be like with those three. Who were you impressed with?
Oh, you got Henderson. You got to start with Henderson.
Right. Were you impressed with all three? And I know you are kind of on the line when it comes to Ramondre Stevenson. Where do you stand with him, even though it's just one preseason game?
Even without yesterday's game, I think the other two guys are more explosive. He's heavier. He's stronger than them. But, again, it goes back to the offensive line for me. They ran like they knew the hole was going to be open. They ran like, I know I'm going to get 3-4 out of this. Last year before that, you take the handoff. Ramondre was taking the handoff, and he was joystick juking immediately. This time, you can clearly see it's like, okay, I can get me a running start here, and I'm going to gain yards every single time I get this handoff. I even love the way McDaniels dressed up the run game. Some of the different formations, some of the different ways they took their handoffs. It was not as easy for the defense to key in on. For example, I thought Washington's defense were flat-footed because they didn't know what they knew it was. Okay, it's a running situation, but they were flat-footed. They weren't just teeing off. They weren't sure how they were going to approach it, and I think that allowed the Patriots to kind of get into the second level a little more. I thought they were able to push Washington back up, especially in that first half, because they just didn't know what was coming. And that goes back to, got to give McDaniels his credit in the play calling and the way they were executing on offense. But Henderson, man, you might have to pick him up in fantasy. That dude, you saw it on the opening kickoff, like, oh, he is that fast.
Yeah.
Everybody said, oh, he's that quick. Big plays in the run game, passing game. He was making plays. Gibson, I thought, looked quick. And Ramondre, he looked strong, but he was able to get a running start, and they weren't meeting him in the backfield. Is it going to be like that way every week? No. But you saw the potential and the promise from this Patriots ground game.
All right, y'all know the deal. Let us know how you feel. 617-779-0985 is the number. When we get back, Cerrone, I want to touch on Drake Maye and the wide receivers. Is there some concern there? And we'll get into that. Plus, we didn't even talk about the defense. We got to talk about the defensive side of the Patriots, too. Yes, it's just a preseason game. It's preseason game 1. But you can still take something from it. We're going to talk about it next. It's 98.5, the Sports Hub.
Stay tuned for more. Leroy and Cerrone on the Sports Hub.
Thank you. It's 9 Day 5, the Sports Hub. Welcome back, Leroy and Cerrone. Masterpiece Theater, the Tom Brady edition, clip number 4. And here's the setup, people. It was February 6th, 2005, Super Bowl 39 versus the Eagles. Brady, a 4-yard touchdown pass to David Givens. Remember, he was flapping his wings like an eagle. En route to a 24-21 Patriots Super Bowl victory, their third title in 4 years, back-to-back championships. Yes, it was a dynasty, the birth of the Brady-Belichick dynasty. The field one tonight. Yes, it was a preseason game. Patriots win. I think if Patriot fans are going to be honest, the thing that might be a little bit concerning was the play of Drake Maye. I know he wasn't on the field all that long. Drake Maye and the wide receivers. They were concerned heading into this season. Everyone's saying, you know what, Drake Maye did a pretty good job last season, but can he improve? Can he be better? Is he the real deal? And then when it comes to the wide receivers, I think it's kind of speaks for itself. We're just like, they need talents. No digs last night. I get it. But Cerrone, you were there, right there on the field, right there in the building. What are your thoughts about Drake Maye, especially with the fumble and the wide receiving core?
Well, Drake Maye with that fumble, he's got to be better than with the ball. I think he should have took the sack there. Just eat that, throw it away. Maybe he's trying to throw it away. I don't know what he was trying to do. And he could have got himself hurt too. But I think he's got to be better than that. He's got to be smarter than that. I know his brain says, I can make a play. I can do it. You got to just take that sack and live for another down.
And you said this was part of his issue at UNC.
Yeah, I could trust in his arm. I could do it. I'm so athletic. I'm so strong. I can do it. And it's like, no, don't. You don't have to. Just hit the floor. You got the Tom Brady statue out there. You got him in the building. The reason he was able to play that long because he had no problem just hitting the dirt. Right. I'm good.
Throwing the ball away.
Throw it away, hit the ground. People used to laugh at it the way he would just throw himself to the floor. That's how you play until your mid-40s. Don't get hit. And he shouldn't have took that hit. He shouldn't have tried to make that play. And in a regular season game, that can cost you. But that being said, this whole thing goes back to what I said. It might have been last week. Wide receivers they're just the topping on a Sunday. They scored 48 points with nothing from the wide receivers. They didn't make an impact at all. And you got 48 points on the board because you was able to run the football. You was able to protect the football. You was able to turn the football over. You was able to make plays on special teams. You got a kick return. You had a 57-yard field goal. Belichick said we were great in all three levels, offense, defense, special teams. They were. You didn't need the receivers to do anything, and you still put up a ton of points. That was probably the most points they scored in a regular or preseason game in probably 4 years. I think Bailey Zappi might have had a game against Detroit or Cleveland when he was close to that. We were kind of talking about it last night, but you scored 48 points and receivers weren't involved. And were they bad? No, I don't think they were bad. I think early on they were trying to run the football. They were trying to establish the ground game, screen game, short passing game, protecting Drake Maye. We're not going to have him sitting in the pocket all preseason for him to get hurt. So he wasn't waiting on anybody to get downfield. Now when they brought Josh Dobbs in, and later in the second half when Kyle Williams and Baker was out there a lot, there were times where they had their guys beat, and they just couldn't get it to them. They weren't making the plays. Ball was too far behind. Kyle Williams smokes his defender in the end zone. He gets in. Like 2 steps, he's in, wide open for the slant. Throws the ball behind him. That would have been a touchdown. Kyle Williams, again, has his man beat down the sidelines. Bad throw. Should have been a pass interference play on one of them. He's holding his arm. Baker, I think, had a play where he was open, but it was a bad throw. But I think they got open. I think if you were playing with the starting unit, they would have made those plays would have got made. But again, you didn't need them to make a big play. And that's always been my argument when it comes to wide receivers in the NFL. If you're great in the trenches on both sides, if you're able to run the football, protect your quarterback, if you're able to stop the run, get after it on passing downs, if your front seven is strong on defense, wide receivers become secondary. You need them when you're down 25 and you got to make a run. We got to hurry up and get back in this. Let's go 5 wide. Let's go no huddle, spread guys out. Let's take some shots downfield, whatever. That's when you need the receivers to be elite. Most situations when you got the lead, again, it's Tom Brady, past Patriots, Corey Dillon, playoff legacy. We got a lead. We got clock killing Corey Dillon. It's a wrap. LeGarrette Blount, we got a lead. It's a wrap. Those guys were way more important. With Rex Burkhead later on, we him going, and Sony Michel, they all had their moments. When we got a lead, it's over. We don't need to keep throwing the ball 40, 50 times. And they won a lot of championships not doing that while the rest of the league was throwing. You got to be balanced. And I think they showed some kind of balance last night. Not too concerned about the wide receivers yet. And I wonder how different will it look when you have Stephon Diggs out there on the field dictating coverage. I don't know if they're going to cover him like the way they did 5 years ago, but he's still a guy you have to respect and play him a different way. Now, that number one DB is not on Pop Douglas. You see how it trickles down?
Right.
Now, Pop has got the number 2 or the slot guy on him. Now, Keyshawn Booty's got the 3rd or 4th best guy on him. They play man. One of them is going to win. And hopefully offensive line now is improved enough, which they showed a little bit last night, that if the offensive line gives the quarterback the time, these guys are going to eventually come free. But I can't say the receivers didn't make too much of an impact and not point some love toward Chisholm. I thought after Chisholm was balling. He's quick. He's fast. This is not a shot at Baker. And I hate to see Polk went out with a towel over his head too. Right. Went down in the tunnel with that shoulder injury. But Baker, to me, I'm across sports here with the NBA. You see a lot of young hoopers. They work on the fancy dribble and the step back fade off one leg, but you ask them to, you know how to backdoor cut, set screens, and get open and make layups in the lane? No, I don't know how to do that. Baker, to me, seems like he's very good at the spectacular, but he doesn't work as hard on the simple, 2 steps get open on the slant. After Chisholm clearly looked like, I'm going to get open in a phone booth. Will I make the leaping spectacular grab with one hand with my eyes closed? Maybe not. But if I need 3 yards, I'm going to get them 3 yards. I'm going to make the first guy miss. I'm walking in the end zone. And you saw that from him yesterday. I think that's what's going to ultimately get this kid on the team, because he makes the little plays that'll help you win football games. And you saw that over the great years from this team. You need a guy like that. And I think he has the edge over Baker. And now with Jalen Polk going down, he might have the edge over both those guys.
All right, we got to take another break. When we get back, we have a special guest in the building. We're going to switch it up just a little bit and talk about something that's very, very important that you all need to hear, especially if you got kids who are playing sports. Pull them on in, tell them to sit down and pay attention. We're going to talk, and then also later on, Cerrone, I got to find out how you feel about the defense of the Patriots. We'll do all that next. 98.5 The Sports Hub.
It's not just the games. It's Toucher and Hardy, Zolak and Bertrand, Felger and Maz, Joe Murray. For Boston sports fans, it's 98.5 The Sports Hub. Paisley Media Group Station. Essential Sports Hub headline presented by Celsius Energy Drinks.
All right, you guys saw the unveiling of the Tom Brady statue went down last night. It took over 20,000 hours of work to create it. Can't wait to go see it. The Patriots' first preseason game is in the books, and it was a win for the hometown team over the Washington Commanders, 48-18. The next Saturday, preseason game number 2 versus the Minnesota Vikings in Minnesota. Browns rookie quarterback Shador Sanders is a polarizing figure, and he made his debut against the Panthers, going 14 for 23, 138 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Today, the Bills and the Giants, I believe they're going on right now. Plus, you have 7 more games on the menu. The Red Sox took care of business by beating the Padres 10-2. The Sox are just 3 games behind the Blue Jays for the top spot in the American League. Game 2 of this 3-game series versus the Padres goes down tonight at 8:40. The Celtics have agreed or signed Coach Joe Mazzulla to a multi-year extension. The NBA released its Christmas Day schedule, and for the first time in 10 years, the Celtics will not be playing. My God. And the Revs will be taking on DC United tonight at 7:30. The Sports Hub headlines are brought to you by McGovern Automotive Group. McGovern and 98.5 The Sports Hub are giving away a brand new Ford F-150. For more info on how to enter, follow 98.5 The Sports Hub and McGovern Auto Group on Instagram. Complete rules and details at 985thesportshub.com. I'm Leroy Irvin. Your next update is in an hour.
Pat's training camp is coming, and we'll be there to bring you every drill, every scrimmage and preseason game as the Pats get ready for a new season of football. On your home for all things Patriots, 98.5 The Sports Hub. Now, Leroy Irvin and Cerrone battle on Boston's home for sports, 98.5 The Sports Hub.
All right, welcome back, 98.5 The Sports Hub. I'm Leroy Irvin. He's Cerrone battle, and we are still celebrating the career of Tom Brady. It is the Masterpiece of Theater, Tom Brady edition. We are on to clip number 5, December 29th, 2007. Oh, man. Brady, 65-yard touchdown to Randy Moss to give the Pats a 31-28 lead after a successful two-point conversion. It was the recording. Tom Brady was his record 50th touchdown. That was the record at the time, and for 50 touchdowns in a single season. It was a record-setting 23rd touchdown reception for Randy Moss. That record still stands. The Patriots' 38-35 victory over the Giants capped off a perfect 16-0 regular season, but we all know what happened after that.
Direct snap to Brady, stands in the pocket, fires it to the right, down the right sideline, and caught at the 20, 15, 10, 5, touchdown, Patriots. Tom Brady to Randy Moss, and they each have set NFL records on the go-ahead touchdown. 65-yard bomb, Brady to Moss for Tom Brady, touchdown pass number 50, an NFL record. For Randy Moss, touchdown reception number 23, an NFL record. One play, bang, bang, they both set NFL records, and the Patriots take the lead with 11:06 to go in the game.
With a tear in my eye.
Greatest wrestling promo. Shout out to the 92 Royal Rumble Ric Flair.
We had to play that, but there is a tear in my eye. There's a tear in many Patriot fans' eyes because we do know what happened after that in the playoffs. Super Bowl loss. Unbelievable, but what a time to be alive. Thank you guys for keeping it locked. 617-779-0985 is the number. We will be getting back to Patriot Talk, but right now we have a special guest in the building. Adam Sissio, my guy. Welcome.
What's up?
Uh-oh, wait a minute. Hold for a second. Is his mic up?
Oh, am I on the wrong
There
mic?
you go. Welcome.
We're here.
Welcome. Thank you for coming through. For the record, we used to work together.
Yes, I used to be a radio sales rep. Full circle. Now I work in mental health, which I think they go hand in hand.
That's
don't
right.
they? Yeah.
It's beautiful. And that's the main reason why we have you in here today. If you could, before we get started, if you could just tell everybody what you do, your company name, and all that.
Yeah, so my name's Adam Sissio. I have 7 locations, Sissio Counseling Centers. We do outpatient mental health counseling, the greater Boston and North Shore and Merrimack Valley areas. And we mainly work with children 8 to 25 is our core. Kids who are going through that developmental stage, different developmental stages, and experiencing doubt along the way or confidence along the way, depending on what's going on in their lives. And we try to help them get back on track if they're having, thought distortions about things that are going on. Maybe they had a bad experience on the field. Maybe they had a bad experience at home or at school. And, our job is to make sure that they don't cement their belief system and who they are in those bad experiences. We always like to say that good experiences are weighted in feathers and bad experiences are weighted in bricks. So typically what happens with kids is they have one bad experience, two bad experiences, and all of a sudden they have a tremendous amount of doubt. So, yeah.
We thought it was very important to have you in here, especially because around here, kids are getting ready to go back to school.
Oh, yeah.
They're participating in sports. And not only that, we've seen with professional athletes and college athletes, mental health is something that's being talked about and that players are dealing with. We've got, I took this screenshot, but Jaylen Brown of the Celtics, he said he's dealt with anxiety, even depression. He said he's been in some dark places, but those places have allowed his light to shine. Regardless, it's all mental health, and we just really, really thought it was important that you come in and talk to us about it. What's your advice to kids who struggle to open up and talk about what they're going through? For instance, my son plays football.
Yep.
And there are struggles with that. Are you like what? And he doesn't open up like he should, but what's your advice to young people who are listening right now?
Yeah, I think it's a challenge sometimes to first identify what's going on with kids. They typically, as they're growing, they might not even know how to identify an emotion, and the emotions become gradually more complex as they get older. And, a lot of the stuff we do is education. It's just learning about emotions and thinking, believability, emotions, what they do with those emotions, and how that results in consequences, good or bad, right? So we like to tell folks that, go and talk to somebody, because it is like adding a class. It's like and I know kids don't want to go to another class after going to school and practice and everything. But, when kids come to us, it's like they come away, they're like, wow, I didn't realize how much I was believing something that might not necessarily happen, that might not necessarily be true. And I was running with that and then doing things or not doing things, like avoiding things that were now perpetuating my doubt. So, I always say, like, hey, why not? Let's learn, right? Let's learn. It's not scary. I know a lot of boys, I want to be tough. I don't want to talk to anyone. I got this, I'm just going to shut down. It's like, no, I wrote a book called Everyone Cries, and it's really geared towards boys who really, don't want to let out that emotion or talk about that emotion, and get them to realize that literally everyone you've ever met has cried. And that's okay, and it's not. So anyway, a lot of stuff we do is around educating, and it's fantastic. Yeah.
Do you feel that? Do you see? You said your range is, we said 8 to 25.
Is the core? Yeah.
The core.
We still see adults, but yeah.
No, I was going to ask. Do you see? Because we know times things. Well, the world has changed from when we were younger. Do you see a younger, more kids in that middle school age dealing with things mentally than you do the high school or the college age kids, because of the power of, say, social media and the pressure of, I gotta be John Morant in the 8th grade, like I'm a failure. Like, are you seeing more of that now with kids at that age than you do with college age kids, let's say?
Yeah, you hit on the big point, social media, but also the way sports are set up. There's so much more specialty teams, travel teams, higher competition. Little League World Series going on right now. That's been around forever. But AAU and all these other programs where there's travel, and all these kids are put in A groups, B groups, C group, and if they're put in one of those B or C groups, they can carry that with them. And you're right. They do, because they're in such a dichotomous, that black and white thinking in that age. There's a lot of emotions. There's a lot of, there's a lot of hormones going around. They can tend to really, if it doesn't go well right away, it's, well, my career's over. I'm never going to be good at this sport. I'm never going to amount to anything. There's those ultimates that they might buy into that, we would say, hold on. You're only 12. You're only 13. Your life has just begun. When we were, I'm 41. We didn't have as we didn't have these competitive. We had competitive, teams, but not like it is now. And everything's broadcast, whether it be on TV or it's on social media. All these kids can see their highlights and everything. And
could you go more in depth, because I believe there are older people who don't understand what young people are going through. So if you could just explain to the older folks, including ourselves, what are some of the things that these young kids are dealing with that we have no idea about?
Yeah, I mean, the hypercriticism, obviously, every kid is going to have, they're like clay, right? Soft clay. They can mold themselves based on these experiences, but they have so much coming at them than we did. So much more pieces of media, more scrutiny. They love the interaction, obviously, like we all do with social media, but also at the same time, that comes with a long-term consequence, right? That comes, we want to have access and convenience to all these things, but at the same time, adults have to understand that they're getting way more information and way more spotlight and way more scrutiny than we ever did. It was just our small group at school, maybe our neighborhood friends, and that was pretty much it. And if there were problems, there were problems. The parents would know. A lot of times now it's all in secret. Everything's on the secret Snapchat stories and private stories, and people can see their location. So if someone's invited to a party and you weren't, right? You just see that and you're like, wait a minute, I wasn't invited. Why don't people like me? It's like it might not be intentional, but they just have more access to knowledge, and they can personalize, which is a cognitive distortion, personalize everything. So we say, wait a minute, let's put this in perspective. So it's a lot of perspective taking that we do as well in therapy.
Do you think, I know Massachusetts is one of the states, and many others are considering just flat out removing the cell phones from kids.
Yeah.
And the biggest pushback you see is basically parents like, I can't reach. How am I going to reach my kid? It's like, well, the same way your mother reached you in '78, but
put the street light on.
But it's right. Or kids at school. You call the school when the teacher tell you he's in the classroom. He or she's in the school. Whatever.
Right.
You can read. You can still call the school, email, all these things with teachers. But do you think, like you're talking about the age? Do you think, first of all, first part, do you think that would help a lot if these kids didn't have their phones? And the second part is, how do you convince the parent that it's this time, it's not about you. This is more about, we have to get these kids mentally back on track. Like, how do you convince the parent that your child might need some help? Your child might need some changes. How do you get them from being the voice pushing back against a lot of this stuff?
Yeah, so to your point about parents, I think what they get used to the safety, and for them it's an emotional safety net. I want to know where my kid is. I want to know that they're safe, and stuff that maybe parents, when they didn't have that, right? They were just like, all right, I hope they come back home.
Yeah, eventually they'll come back.
Yeah, but to your point about cell phones, I had this theory. I was like, why don't they, you give a flip phone to a kid. That's their first phone. It's like driving, right? It's like you can't drive. You got to drive with an adult, right? Or you can't just drive on your own. You got to get the experience first. So I think start with flip phones, then move on to maybe Blackberries or something, and then move on to move on to these as the age progresses. Maybe by 17 or 18, okay, here's a smartphone. I think you're responsible enough. I think your frontal lobe is developed enough to handle the criticisms and the things that come with this. But like you said, even the athletes like Jaylen Brown has to deal with, Jaron Duran has to deal with it. All these people, they're in their 20s and they're still fight. They have to fight it every day. So hey, but I would say, because yes, technology is moving forward. It's only moving in one direction, right? So yes, we got to have, obviously, they're have them have phones and whatever the case is, but maybe we just limit what they can do.
The access to
Yeah, same with gaming. I would say, hey, give them a Super Nintendo. Start with that, and then you can move them to a PS5, right? Wow. Why do they have to be addicted? The addiction piece is another huge component. I mean, we could talk all day about addiction and how kids get started so early in addiction. But yeah, just as it relates to the access to judgment and all those things. But yeah.
So for those looking for help, or maybe they're the parents that are looking for help for their kids, how can they reach you?
Oh yeah, I mean, so what's great about our company is I pick up the phone. It's me. We have 7 locations, but I talk to every parent. I talk to every person. If they're an adult and they want to get services, and I try to cater to what their needs are, and whether it be location or need or specialty. So they can call me directly at my number, the 781-307-0098 number on my website, CicioCounselingCenters.com. And then the other great thing we're doing, which I do want to mention, we do a program called Beyond the Lights. Lance Kilburn, who's at my practice, amazing sports counselor. He actually goes to high schools, colleges, and he put together this amazing workshop for student athletes, for teams, for coaches, to help with their mental health, so their performance is what they want it to be on the field. So we also have that going on, and it's been flourishing. So
wow. Thank you. Thank you so much, Adam. We appreciate you coming in.
You guys are awesome. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you,
man.
Give me send me all your information, and I'm gonna post it for people who may have missed it. But if mental health is serious.
I appreciate
it's
you having
really
me back
serious.
on.
Oh yeah. And you gotta come back through often. Please do.
Yeah, anytime.
And you got, like you said, you got books too, right?
I got 17 children's
Come
books.
on now.
I'm the worst at promoting my own stuff.
All right, man, come on.
But again, Adam, thank you so much for coming through. All right, we're going to take a quick break. When we get back to the Patriots. I want to know about the defense. Cerrone, I want to hear your thoughts. Cerrone was literally, I swear, he was auditioning to be one of the coaches.
I was just out there for a little bit, man. I was up
on the side.
I was up with the people providing the information.
Oh, did you see Wes Welker?
I did see Wes Welker.
Did you dap him up?
Yes, I did.
Somebody was trying to get a job.
Yeah.
It's 9 days.
More Leroy Irvin. local guys, lots of local sports talk. Leroy Irvin and Cerrone battle on Boston's home for sports. 98.5 The Sports Hub.
We are now on to clip number 6, October 18th, 2009. That's week 6 versus Tennessee. Brady makes his return. Brady throws, and I remember this day like it was yesterday because it was snowing. We're like, man, it's October. What's going on? Brady throws for 5 touchdowns in a quarter. Okay? Unbelievable. 5 TDs in a single quarter is still the NFL record.
Never be broken.
Right. The Pats would destroy the Titans 59-0 in this game.
Maye had 6 overall in the game.
He's lurking like a shark.
2nd down and 6, Tennessee 28. Brady play action fake. Stands in the pocket, has time, now starts to run left. Gets rid of the football downfield to the end zone. Caught, Randy Moss, touchdown. What a great play by Brady. There's a flag down, however. Hang on. The penalties against Tennessee. It's Tom Brady to Randy Moss for the 2nd time on a touchdown. Snap to Brady. Stands in the pocket, flares it right, complete to Falk on a screen. Got the 30, 25, 20, 15, 10, 5, touchdown, Kevin Falk. 37-yard screen pass. Tom Brady's 3rd touchdown pass of the game. Kevin Falk's 1st touchdown of the season. The Patriots are blowing their doors on and signals. Play action fake. Back to throw. Fires it down the right side. Wide open. Wes Welker is going to walk into the end zone. Touchdown. Wide open. I mean, there wasn't anybody within 10 yards of Wes Welker. And Tom Brady has thrown 4 touchdown passes here in the 2nd quarter. Shotgun. Green Ellis to his left. Slots to both sides. Brady takes the snap. Looks. Rifles it right. Welker. Touchdown. Tom Brady has thrown 5 first-half touchdown passes.
What a time to be freaking alive.
We had it easy.
That day, you know why I remember because, again, like I said, it was snowing. But when those 5 touchdowns, it was like you could sit back and breathe and just be like, man, this game's over. But, man, and they had on the old school joints.
The old school uniforms and that backdrop with the snow. That's the wallpaper to have right there.
Unbelievable. We are having a time. 617-779-0985 is the number. Cerrone, before we go on to talk about the Patriots defense last night in preseason game number 1, you had a thought. You was talking about something off air concerning mental health, which we just talked about with Adam Sissio. If you would, just
no, you just talking about mostly with the kids. And look, we were talking about our own kids and their ages or whatever, and how, my older boys, they weren't born and raised in the Matrix just yet. You see what I'm saying? Our kids were at an age where we were still, all right, y'all go outside and play. They stayed outside and we had to force them to come in. They'd be out there playing dirty, playing football. What were you doing? How do you got grass on top of your head? Where were you at?
Yep.
They were at that age where they still had that, but then they had the gaming and stuff when they came in. So now that they're in their 20s, I know my boy will be 20 years old.
Crazy.
20 years old next week. They know how to separate or turn off.
They do a better job.
They do a better job at disconnecting from the gaming stuff. Social media is a whole different animal. But the younger ones, they were born in the Matrix. And you have to be careful of.
I'm thinking if you try to disconnect them like in the Matrix,
everything just goes blank.
They start shaking it out.
They just fall. Like, what do we do? Not like this, not like this. But they literally don't know what to do when you take the stuff away.
Yeah.
Hey, turn the phone off. Hey, Kyle, I know he's probably sitting in front of you right now playing your son Jordan.
Yep.
But here's the thing. They're probably playing each other on NCAA, and they are playing Roblox on the phone, talking to each other at the same time.
That's crazy.
But getting them to disconnect to even go eat, man, go get in the shower. Man, go outside. They look at you like, what am I supposed to do? What, I got at my daughter. Hey, we got the thing on the phone where he cuts off after a certain time. She's like, hey, man, let me get 2 more hours, man. Throw me 2 more hours on that.
All right, Pookie.
But I know, but they struggle with doing other things. We talk about how you burying toys in the yard.
Yeah, I remember
when it would
that.
rain outside, if I had a toy that floated like a boat or something like that, when the water's running down the street, I would go outside with my toy boats and watch them float down the street. We had the imagination because we were forced to go outside. But nowadays, the technology, you're getting into kids going back to school. They're getting back around their friends. Just be careful of their behaviors, how they're acting, how they're responding, not making teams, meeting new friends. Watch them on that Roblox. I'm going to say it again. Watch them playing Roblox. It's a wild game. A lot of things be going on. I done seen drive-by shootings and parties getting lit up in Roblox. These are the worlds people are creating. Be careful when they're playing stuff like that, who they're interacting with. There's a viral video going around, a police officer, and he catches all these people in the sting, and he's doing a press conference, and he's like, this is all from video games. People are trapping kids on video. And Instagram just introduced a map
I know.
that shows where every person is who's on their friends list or who they follow. It shows their location. Make sure your kids aren't turning that stuff on. You don't want to have nobody showing up, craziness going on. Just be mindful of the technology, and don't think everybody's against you when they're saying to limit it from your kids or whatever. When schools say, hey, we're going to take these phones away during class. There's a lot going on with these children that I think a lot of adults really don't understand or just don't think it's as deep as it really is.
Yeah, and again, it's very important to talk about, especially because kids are about to go back to school, sports are about to start up, and to be honest, man, even as adults, we gotta take it into consideration too.
We the ones turn the location on Instagram. Like,
right?
Why do you need to know? Why do you want people to know where you are all the time to that level to where you can zoom out the map?
It's crazy.
And all the people you follow's faces just start popping up.
That's sick. All right, we got to take another quick break. I promise you we are going to talk about the Patriots defense, then get into the Celtics, Joe Mazzulla, Shador Sanders, and so much more. I'm Leroy Irvin. He's Cerrone Battle. It's 98.5 The Sports Hub.
You're listening to Now, Leroy Irvin and Cerrone battle. Leroy and Cerrone on Boston's Home for Sports, 98.5 The Sports Hub.
Welcome back. 98.5 The Sports Hub. Leroy Irvin, Cerrone battle. Masterpiece Theater, the Tom Brady edition. We are now on to clip number 7, October 13th, 2013. This is the Unicorns Show Ponies game. Week 6 versus New Orleans. Game-winning 17-yard TD pass to Kimbrell Tompkins to give the Patriots a 30-27 lead with 5 seconds left in the game. No.
Everything else was great. The quarterback was great. Your defense got you in that situation. And the quarterback made a play. Hey, just put your hands up and catch it. It didn't have to be a superstar. And you saw it over. He's got 100 touchdowns to 100 different receivers or something like
something
that.
Crazy
something
like that.
ridiculous. Maybe 120 at this point. It didn't matter. If everything else was great, hey, kid, get down there and get open. All right. David Givens, another example. We played a Givens. All these clips are different people. You know, none of them were superstar receivers. David Givens, Kimbrell Tompkins, Troy Brown was good, Pro Bowl guy. Very good receiver, extremely smart. But he wasn't the Randy Moss type. Wes Welker, yeah, we knew Wes once he got here, but Wes didn't have that reputation before he became a Patriot. If everything else around him is great, you don't need to have, you know, the all-time LSU wide receiver core around you, Joe Burrow, in order to win. And he's not winning with that. The best receiving units in the NFL aren't winning. The Bengals, did they make the playoffs? You see what I'm saying? All you need is surrounding pieces around a good quarterback and a good defense, and you don't have to have a top-level receiver unit to win. Excuse me. In a couple years, the Patriots had that. That's when they didn't win. Think about it.
Yeah.
That's when they did not win the Super Bowl. You took that away, they started winning again. Because all of a sudden now, I'm not focusing on Randy Moss. I'm not focusing on Wes Welker. I'm focusing on five receivers that are spread out, including maybe my running backs, tight ends, whatever, and the first man to get open in this situation is getting the ball. But when you put that superstar out there, I'm looking here first. That's my only concern with Stephon Diggs as this thing goes on. Will Drake May get locked in?
And will
Stephon Diggs say, "Hey, lock in on me.
Yep.
I get open. This is what I do." Yes, but I don't need that in this situation. It's 3rd and 3. I need the 3 yards I'm going to get over here. I don't need you to go for 18 yards here. I don't need to fade away 3 in this situation. We're only down 1. I think that's what happens with superstar receivers, and I think that's my only concern with the Stephon Diggs thing. But we've seen it so long for here with the Patriots, with Tom Brady, that you don't need those guys to win big games and win big moments.
All right, so before we move on to the defense last night, let's take one call. Brent in Haverhill, he wants to talk about the whole kids thing that we was talking about. Brent, what's going on?
Hi, guys. How are you?
Doing good. How are you?
Good. Good, thank you. You guys are awesome on Saturday.
Thank you.
I always love to hear your show. What I was going to say is just that I think it's beautiful that you guys are mentioning this topic, and it's not being addressed enough. I'm not a social media guy. Like, I'm not on Facebook. You work hard, you do what you need to do, but I'm not like posting anything. Like, I'm not that kind of dude.
Mm-hmm.
But I went to a boarding high school in New York, and the philosophy that they taught us, that it goes through your entire life, it's called the RISE system. So your responsibility increases your self-esteem. That's how you spell RISE. So you teach kids that, and in the fall, help dad rake leaves. In the winter, you help,
shovel,
push the snow around.
Yep.
And then you can get a reward that is your tablet, that is your digital, downtime, but it's a way of life. And so when you do that, you never lose anything. You never misplace anything. You know exactly where you're supposed to be every day at every time. And so it's called the RISE program. And I think it's a great thing that I'm teaching my nieces and nephews. And I got 2 sisters. Everyone's married. Everyone's good. But kids need to know that piece of how to just develop.
Appreciate it, Brent. Brent coming through with some good information. We got to take care of the babies. We got to take care of the kids.
Yeah.
That's where it's at.
And you grab you if you have teenagers or kids, if they have the phones, smartphones, whatever. Everybody got a smartphone now. If you got kids that got the phones, take an hour and a half out of your time and sit down with them and watch The Social Dilemma on Netflix. It's a documentary about the power of social media and basically how they gear it to addiction and gear it to kids, and they build it based off of the likes, giving the kids more likes, setting the algorithms up to show them things that they're interested in that they might like. And that way they're looking through their phone as in, see, everybody agrees with me. Everybody likes what I like. It's like, no, that's your algorithm only showing you things that you're interested in that makes you feel better, that you constantly like and click. You can watch a Chevy Mustang on your phone. A Ford Chevy Mustang. Oh, my grandfather killed me. You can like a picture of a Mustang, and next thing you know, your phone is just flooding you with Mustangs because it's trying to feed your likes and what you're interested in. And the kid's not old enough to catch that the algorithm is just leading them in one way. But watch The Social Dilemma, watch what it's doing to them, and watch the numbers when it comes to suicide rates and things like that amongst children. And it all goes back to the phones and mental health and all these things. But I think a lot of it can be prevented by parents and what you're teaching and how you're raising your kids. And look, I'm speaking to myself here as well because I have to be better at pulling my own kids away and unplugging them from the matrix from time to time and doing more things together as a family, going to the movies, going for dinner, going for walks, going back outside, throwing the football with my kids. I have to be better at that. And I think a lot of people need to realize that they can do the same.
All right, 617-779-0985 is the number. Before we go to break, we were talking about the Patriots. We're going to talk about the Patriots
We're going to get
defense.
on the defense. I'm sorry.
And you were talking about the wide receivers. Let's go to Chris in Marlboro. He wants to speak on that. Chris.
Hey, guys. Happy weekend.
Same to you.
I want to push back gently against they don't need a great wide receiver. I think you do. Now it could be a tight end also. I mean, you look at all the best teams in the last couple of years, whether it's Buffalo, whether it's Kansas City, even Cincinnati, it's either they have the elite wide receiver or they have elite tight ends. So unless you get somebody for Drake Maye where he can go, this guy's going to get open, he's going to make the big play, I can depend on him to, turn something into nothing. They're not going anywhere. They'll be a mid-average team. So anyway, have a great weekend, and thank you guys for taking my call.
Thank you, Chris. Cerrone, when we get back, you can respond to that. Plus, we're going to talk about the Patriots defense. I'm Leroy Irvin. He's Cerrone Battle. It's 98.5, The Sports Hub.
Stay tuned for more from
Taking your calls, giving hot takes. Leroy Irvin and Cerrone battle on 98.5 The Sports Hub.
Once again, welcome back, 985 The Sports Hub. Masterpiece Theater, the Tom Brady edition. We are celebrating Tom Brady's career. Clip number 8, February 1st, 2015, Super Bowl 49 versus Seattle. Come on now, Glendale, Arizona. Brady, 3-yard touchdown to Edelman to give the Pats the 28-24 advantage with 2:02 left in the fourth. The Patriots trailed by 10, 24-14, with 12:10 before they started their comeback. Remember the Malcolm Butler interception game? Yeah, that's the one we're talking about. And to kind of go against your whole idea that you don't need these phenomenal, outstanding wide receivers to be productive, to be successful. No. And he said, he threw tight ends in the talk too. And for the most part, he was saying, hey, listen, a lot of these teams that are winning, they have either great wide receivers or a great tight end. What's your response to that?
The teams that are winning made those guys look great. Do you see them? Someone has to catch the ball. And it's like, for a prime example, Josh Allen, the Buffalo Bills. Josh Allen's biggest knock was he turns it over too much. When the league leaders in interceptions the last 5 years or so, and then they were like, well, he got rid of Stephon Diggs and Davis. What are they going to do? He have no receivers in Buffalo. If he turned it over like that before, what's he going to do now without them? Josh Allen leading up to before last season, 15 interceptions, 14 interceptions, 18 interceptions. Last year, without any good receivers, 6. Bills scored 30 points a game. His number one receiver was Khalil Shakur. I don't know what that guy looks like if he took his helmet off. And then Dalton Kincaid was his next guy behind him with 44 catches. Shakur had 76, 800 yards. That's not a lot. That's not superstar stuff. Kansas City, the last 3 or 4 years, without Tyreek Hill, their receivers leading the league in drops. They can't make big plays. They're hurt. Some of them have been going in and out of jail.
Kelsey, not really the Kelsey we're used to.
The ghost of Travis Kelsey. He's just been dancing a little bit here or there. He did a little 5-yard comeback, and that's all you get out of him. But he still was productive. Real smart guy. He's going to catch the ball if you get it his way. Number one guy for them last year was Xavier Worthy, the rookie. 59 catches, 600 yards. That was their top receiver. Kelsey, again, had his numbers. He had 90 catches, but only 800 yards. That, again, 5 yards turnaround over and over again. He was limping a lot. Didn't really have it. They brought in the ghost of DeAndre Hopkins. He had 40 catches last year, 400 yards. Didn't make any impact. They were in the Super Bowl. They're against Buffalo, who's an AFC Championship game. The Ravens, we look at them as this great offensive system. They're a great team with a great quarterback and a good offensive line. The receiver with a quarterback that can't get tackled. He's buying time. Anybody in the NFL can get open after 3 seconds.
Your Super Bowl champs, the Eagles.
They had great receivers, great wide receivers. Both receivers had attitudes last year because they were like, yo, we don't really need y'all. A.J. Brown over there reading books.
Yep.
But, Baltimore. Zay Flowers. Shout out to Zay Flowers, BC. 70 catches, 1,000 yards. Again, he was a rookie last year. Bateman, second receiver, 45, 700 yards. The tight ends, Andrews got hurt last year. Missed a little time. Likely was good. 40 catches. Didn't light it up. But great offense. Cincinnati. Oh, man, Jamar Chase breaking records. Oh, T. Higgins. We got to go get ourselves a T. Higgins. Oh, man, look at Joe Burrow. They were a 500 team. Patriots beat them. They did their thing, but they were a 500 team. They couldn't beat these other teams that didn't have the same talent they had on offense. Yeah, you need decent guys. You don't need Jamar Chase and T. Higgins to win Super Bowls. You can do that with Zay Flowers, Xavier Worthy. You don't need these guys.
Tompkins and Givens.
Kimbrell Tompkins, David Givens.
Yeah.
Chris Hogan, Danny Amendola. All these guys, you can win several Super Bowls. The Patriots beat on their way to Super Bowls Marvin Harrison and Reggie Wayne. You see what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. They beat the greatest show, Torrey Holt and Isaac Bruce with Marshall Faulk. They beat the Steelers over and over again. That was wide receiver U for years. They had all kinds of great receivers. The Patriots beat them all. They beat Antonio Gates and Daniel Tomlinson. All these great offenses had no shot. Terrell Owens caught an L to the Patriots. They all went down. Steve Smith. All these guys couldn't beat the team that had less. That's why they were always looked at as the underdog, because they didn't have the superstar name. You don't need those guys to win Super Bowls. Yes, you need reliable guys, which the caller did say. You don't need a superstar. Now what ends up happening is the reliable guy is so reliable for so long, we start thinking of him as superstars.
Superstar, yeah.
Oh, my God. You know, I love Julian Edelman. Do I think he should be in the Hall? Yes, because he's one of the great playoff performers of all time. Jerry Rice and Kelsey, I think the only guys better than him statistically in the playoffs. But is he a Hall of Fame talent? He's a quarterback from Kent State that was just reliable for so long that he became a fan favorite and a trusted target of Tom Brady. But he wasn't no Randy Moss. He wasn't Wes Welker. But he was reliable. He knew where to be. He knew how to get open. He was tough as nails. That game against the Seahawks is one of the great games I've ever seen by a wide receiver because he took some shots and was still making plays. That's what you need. Stephon Diggs, yeah, that's great. But if these other guys, if Pop Douglas is reliable, stays healthy, and can get open on third down, you're going to win a ton of games. That's all you really need. You don't need the greatest receiving core in the NFL in order to win games.
All right, before we go to break, Cerrone, if you can, within a minute and a half or so, last night, preseason game number 1, ended up being a dub for the Pats. But the defense, what are your thoughts on the defense? Are they going to have the impact that everyone's expecting, which is a huge impact?
I think they will. And that's, again, last night, you didn't have Gonzalez out there. You didn't have the guys on the outside. But I kept an eye on Spillane in the middle. Very reactive. He kind of recognized and he was noticing what was going to happen, where the ball was going to go, almost before the quarterback did. He looked like me playing middle linebacker. He looked the way he was moving. I said, that's me holding LT. But he was moving. He was getting his thing. They didn't get a ton of sacks, but they were getting pressure. But they look like a team that's going to be opportunistic and turn you over. Last year, the Patriots were near the bottom. They only forced 7 interceptions. The league leaders are up around 17, 18. Last night, they had a couple. The more interceptions you get, forced fumbles, you start turning teams over, that's more possessions for your offense.
Right.
The reason a lot of teams don't score a lot because the defense isn't giving them the ball back. I think you might have a defense here this year that's going to get the ball back to that offense and allow them to score a ton of points. That way you don't need a ton of good wide receivers to make big plays for you because you're only getting it at the 20 or 30 and you're right back on the field making plays and getting points out of these possessions.
All right, let's take another quick break. Get your Sports Hub headlines. When we get back, the entertainment report, and we got to talk about the most hated young man in sports today, Shador Sanders. Still catching hate, even though he showed up and showed out last night. They keep moving the goalposts, man. We'll talk about it next. 985 The Sports Hub.
It's not just the games. It's Toucher and Hardy, Zolak and Bertrand, Felger and Maz, Joe Murray. For Boston sports fans, it's 98.5, the Sports Hub. Beasley Media Group Station. Sports Hub headlines. Presented by Celsius Energy Drinks.
All right, you saw it, the unveiling of Tom Brady's statue. It went down last night. It took over 20,000 hours of work to create it. Shout outs to the people who made it. The Patriots' first preseason game is in the books as it was a win for the hometown team over the Washington Commanders, 48-18. Next Saturday, preseason game number 2 versus the Vikings in Minnesota. Browns rookie quarterback, who we will be talking about, Shador Sanders, he is a polarizing figure, whether you like him or not. And he made his debut against the Panthers, going 14 for 23, 138 yards and 2 touchdowns. Today, right now, you got the Bills and the Giants playing. It's the fourth quarter. The Giants are up 27-25, and then there's 7 other games on the schedule. The Red Sox took care of business by beating the Panthers 10-2. The Sox are just 3 games behind the Blue Jays for the top spot in the American League. Game 2 of this 3-game series versus the Padres goes down tonight at 8:40. The Celtics have signed coach Joe Mazzulla to a multi-year extension. The NBA released its Christmas Day schedule, and for the first time in 10 years, the Celtics will not be playing, and the Revs versus DC United tonight at 7:30. The Sports Hub headlines are brought to you by Valvoline Instant Oil Change. Enjoy quick and convenient vehicle maintenance this month Visit NewEnglandOilChange.com for 15% off your drive-through oil change at Valvoline Instant Oil Change, the official oil change of busy people. I'm Leroy Irvin. Leroy and Cerrone will be right back.
Here we go.
Boom. I win.
Kaboom.
Yeah. Hit somebody.
We've got a passion for Boston sports.
Get angry.
98.5 The Sports Hub. We're back with more Leroy and Cerrone on the Sports Hub.
Welcome back, 98.5 The Sports Hub. I'm Leroy Irvin. He's Cerrone Battle. Thank you guys for tuning in, keeping it locked. Masterpiece Theater, the Tom Brady edition. We are now on to clip number 9. Am I correct on that? No, it's a clip number. It is 9?
Number 9.
Okay. February 5th, 2017, Super Bowl 51. Come on now. I mean, we're 28-3. 20. That's all I need to say. 28-3. Y'all know what's up. You get it? I'll be back. They'll be back.
From the near hash of the 36. Shotgun snap for Brady. Stands in. Throws down the middle for Edelman. Ball's tipped. And Julian diving for it. As Olford cut in front of the receiver. Edelman has it. Did he make the catch? He did!
You gotta be
at
kidding
the
me.
40. Brady under center. Tom takes the snap. Quick throw to Amendola. Screen left. A flag as he reaches across the goal line for a score. There is a penalty marker on the play.
They're offsides. That's in.
The Patriots with an apparent 2-point conversion. A conference by the officials. It's a tie game in Super Bowl 51.
High fives for everybody. Give me some.
Turns to his left, raising the right hand. Stomps the foot, extends the hands, takes the step. 3-man rush. Brady stands in, throws it to the near side. Amendola makes the grab on a perfect throw over the shoulder. On an out pattern to the 45 to beat Brian Poole.
That was sick. Absolutely disgustingly sick.
Second and goal to go from the Atlanta 2. James White is set behind Brady. We move under center, trips to the right, Bennett to tight end left. Second and goal to go from the 2. Toss sweep right for James White. Tucks it under the right arm, cuts it upfield. Driving forward, diving to the goal line.
It's done.
A touchdown and a title for the Patriots.
I can't believe it.
They have completed the greatest comeback in Super Bowl history. Led by the greatest quarterback
Look at Brady.
in Super Bowl and NFL annals.
One more ring.
James White. And his silver trophy is coming back to New England.
Oh, man. I got the chills, man. I got the chills.
I got to ask Zoe, how did it feel watching that game?
I've asked him. You know what? He liked 49 better.
Really?
Which I was shocked. I mean, not shocked. It's either here or there. But I believe he told me, he said he liked calling 49 better.
Because, like, I can't imagine the emotional roller coaster.
Oh, my God.
Like, he's probably sitting, his hands probably felt numb.
That was the first game ever in my life where I felt like I was going to faint. My kids remember that. They were like, I was against the wall, and the wall was holding me up.
The Robert Alford interception to make it 21-zip, I just seated, kind of silent the whole game until the 2-point conversion by Amendola. Then I got a little bit rowdy. You know,
Unbelievable.
Woke me up.
What a time.
That point, the interception, the pick six, I said, yeah, they're about to get rocked. But it never felt like they were out of the game. For some reason, without looking at the scoreboard, it never felt like Atlanta was doing anything special. And then when they finally started making their run, I to this day, I believe Atlanta lost that game because they were thinking the same thing we were thinking.
It's over. They're going to roll over.
He's going to beat us. He's going to – no.
Oh, you thought –
I think Atlanta lost because they feared.
Oh.
Almost like – remember the old commercials of everybody fearing Tiger Woods?
Yes. Okay.
And they would lose before anything would happen?
Yeah.
They got that lead, and they never said, we got this. Let's just keep doing what we're doing. We're going to blow these dudes out. It was like, yeah, but, man, I don't think it's enough. And then once he scored once, they all just sat there. Like, we see all the mic'd up stuff. what's his name, Muhammad Sanu sitting there like, man, this dude gonna get us.
Man, that's Tom Brady.
That's Tom Brady over there, man. Like he was, he wanted to see what he was gonna do. It's like, yo, that's your team. And mentally, I think they lost it. Whereas Seattle, I think Seattle was overconfident. We got him. There's nothing he could do against us. And they,
so much so, we're going to show off.
Yeah, we're going to
running the ball.
We're going to play cover 3 the whole time. He's never going to figure us out. I don't care who. That's Cam. That's elite with a Legion of Boom.
Yeah.
And it was like, yo, I think you should take Richard Sherman and put him on Edelman. I think you should leave him on Edelman the rest of the game. Nope. And they never made any adjustments and just slowly watched themselves get picked apart in the second half of that game.
Wow.
And it's like, there he got you.
Great times. Before we get into the whole Shador Sanders stuff, I see people calling in about Shador. It's time for the entertainment report. All right, I'm going to make it quick because we got to get to Shador. The $20 million defamation lawsuit against Shannon Sharp and Chad Ochocinco has been dismissed. Apparently, Cerrone, both sides came to an agreement before heading to court. So there's that. Word is that the new War of the Worlds movie starring Ice Cube is completely garbage. It's got a 0% rating on Rotten Tomato.
Wait, is the whole movie just his face?
I don't know. I've seen people I trust say it's the worst movie ever.
Like
ever.
I know the War of the Worlds story. I love the whole thing about it. But is the whole movie just him looking at his TV?
I don't know. I watched a clip where it sounds like he's reading instead of acting. It looks really bad. Real quick, what's a movie that everybody hates that you like? Mine is Norbit. Eddie Murphy, Norbit. People think that movie's garbage. I love Norbit.
Man of Steel, Batman vs. Superman. Everybody hated Batman vs. Superman and Man of Steel.
Yeah.
Looking back,
wasn't that bad.
Wasn't that bad at all.
And to wrap things up, just so you know, Diddy's lawyer said early this week that Diddy wants to put on a show at Madison Square Garden at some point once he gets out. Now, I'm going to ask this, and if you don't want to answer, Cerrone, you don't have to. Would you go?
No. Well, so let me stop. I'm going to stop. Who all going to be there? Because he got his issues.
Yes.
But he is who he is.
Yep.
Because he could put together shows. He knows everybody. It could be the show of shows. Now, who shows up after this is what I'm more curious. Who's going to come perform for him?
If you give me tickets, I'm not paying for any, but if you give me tickets, I'm going because I'm curious to see
who's performing.
No, more so, I would be curious to see how he reacts as a human being. What is he going to do? So if I go,
you got to double down, be mad wild.
If he comes out and he's Diddy bopping and celebrating, then I'm walking out the door. But if somehow, some way, he does like a asking for forgiveness or being transparent,
and just keeps it straight about the music.
Yes. I said this on Hot 96.9. If he does it like Dave Chappelle, where Dave Chappelle has those where he just sits down and just kind of talks to you about what's going on.
Nah, it's not
and
him.
Then put in a little bit of music here and there. I would.
I got a feeling once he's free, he gonna be uncontrollable.
Oh my God!
The Halloween party coming back. I think he's gonna be uncontrollable.
And that's your entertainment report. All right, we promised Shador Sanders talk. We got to get into it. Cerrone.
Man, you said the phone lines like we didn't even said nothing yet.
Because it's the talk of the sports world, which is crazy to me. Well,
I kind of think it is too.
I understand why, but I am just furious at the amount of hate this young man is still getting online. Now, granted, a lot of it is probably bots and
bots
not even
and trolls.
Yeah, and trolls.
It's all it is.
But my God, why are there people still real people who don't want to see this young man succeed? All the odds have been stacked against him.
Because it's trendy.
And he came out during a preseason game. Okay, it's a preseason game. And he started off a little sluggish, but he put in work. And he looks like a professional. It's funny how he performs like that on the same day that his mentor, Tom Brady, gets a statue. And somehow people just push that to the side. We love Tom Brady. He's the greatest of all time.
But
he mentors Shador Sanders.
And has for a while.
Shador Sanders was successful in college, and he looked almost exactly the same, but at the pro level, and yet people are still hating.
Yeah, if you look at the way he moves in the pocket, footwork, stepping up, all those things, he learned that from the man himself. And he's been teaching him since before he was at Jackson. That was 4 years ago. So he's been under it. He's been under Brady for a while because Dion was like, I want him to learn from the best to ever do it. Because Dion respects Brady like that. Everybody knows it. So he had him coming out of high school. We're going to put you with Tom Brady. This is who you're going to learn under. And he sat there and he was yes, sir, and no, sir, the whole time for years under Tom Brady. He goes into college. He wins at Jackson. Goes to Colorado. We'll go over it all over. But he completes 70% of his throws and breaks school records and one of the best quarterbacks in the conference history, all those things. And then it's like, yeah, but I don't like the way he talked to the personal assistant from the Cincinnati Bengals who weren't drafted him anyway. Whoever the guy, I don't know who the person was. And that whole thing has overshadowed his entire football legacy.
Right.
And last night, I'm sitting there because their game started before the Patriots game, I think so, like a half hour before, whatever. I'm looking Sanders out there. I'll say he's got a touchdown, whatever. So break during the Patriots game. A lot of Washington players were getting carted off, so I had a lot of time. So I would put my phone, I'm watching just in time to watch him. He has this rollout play to his right where he buys time and the defense comes up. And on the run, he kind of floats it about 30 yards downfield. My man makes a spectacular one-handed catch. Mm-hmm. And they pan to the Browns coaching staff, and they're all grinning. And I'm like, say what you want in the media and whatever and on radio and all this other stuff. When you see coaches react like that, they'll tell you what they're thinking. And they're sitting there like, yeah, we got a quarterback. Joe Flacco's over there in his regular clothes. You know, what's his name? Watson. Nobody knows where he's at. Dylan Gabriel, he ain't getting any taller. So they're like, yeah, I think we got ourselves a quarterback. And the players kind of rallied around him. And I think when they see leadership or sense some kind of leadership, the players will rally around the guy, and they're going to tell you who they're pulling for. Yep. And you clearly saw that from the Browns game last night. Now, the negativity, yeah, was he accurate the whole game? Did he make all the perfect plays? Not at all. But from what I understand, last night was his first time playing with the ones since training camp started because they had him as the fourth guy. And he throws a couple touchdowns and looks like a competent quarterback with his first time playing with the ones. I think you got to give him credit for that. That's all I can give him credit. I'm not saying he's going to be Steve Young.
Exactly.
But I can only give credit for what I saw from a rookie quarterback last night at Carolina. And it looked like it was raining and stuff too. But I can only give credit for that. That's as far as I can go.
And what's going to happen is he's going to have a bad game. It's going to happen at some point. And that's where, everyone's going to come out and say, see, I told you. Let's go to Zach and Wilburn. What's up, Zach? And thank you for holding.
What's up, boys?
What's up?
Hey, real quick, before Shador, does everyone hate Norbit? Because I love Norbit.
Apparently, Norbit is a terrible movie, and I'm like, I can't get enough of it. It's one of the best movies to watch late at night. And it's just fun.
I love Norbert, bro.
Thank you.
Anyway, real quick, on Shador. Yo, my man played his first game. My man started after having no reps in camp. He was throwing to equipment managers, apparently, literally. The owner's hating on him. He started his game, and he balled out. And I'll just keep it real quick. And I'll just sum up everything that you just said, Cerrone. Aaron Rodgers can do the championship belt dance, right? And get $20 million in State Farm. Baker Mayfield, Phillip Rivers can be as cocky as they want, talk all the trash they want, and they get paid. A brother Floss's Rolex, he's a problem. Okay? But at the end of the day, football is a quantifiable business. Either you perform or you don't. And the reality is this young man has never been a problem. All he's ever done is won. And trust me, I watched every game of his in college, okay? All he's done is win. That's it. And he's never been in trouble. And I loved last night. I relished in it.
Appreciate it, Zach. We got to take a quick break. Zach is feeling the way we're feeling, but there are others who feel totally opposite. And guess what? They're on the phone line. We will talk about Shador Sanders some more when we get back.
Boston's home for sports. 98.5 The Sports Hub.
All right, welcome back. 98.5 The Sports Hub. I'm Leroy Irvin. He's Cerrone Battle. Masterpiece Theater, the Tom Brady edition. We are on to clip number 10. Oh, boy. February 4th, 2018, Super Bowl 52 versus Philadelphia. Brady, 4-yard touchdown pass to Gronk to give the Pats the 33-32 lead over Philly with 9:22 left in the fourth quarter. The Pats would lose in the end, 41-33 to Philadelphia. But let's be honest, Tom Brady was a psycho. You know what? I'm not even going to waste any time. Let's go to Nick in Medfield. He wants to say something about Shador. What's up, Nick?
Hey, guys.
What's going on?
A little long-time listener here. You guys talking about Shador and Brady. And, I actually respect Shador as a prospect. But I understand that Brady, has seen him a bit as a disciple. He's wanted to teach him a couple things. But in college, Brady was bailing out Drew Henson. And in college, Shador didn't really even win a bowl game. So I really don't understand the comparison. That's all. Thank you.
Appreciate it. He doesn't understand the comparison. And he points out that Shador Sanders didn't even win a bowl game.
Drake Maye didn't either.
Uh-oh. I think you need to say that louder.
Drake Maye did not win a bowl game. And he lost the Mayo Bowl, which is a North Carolina-based company. But anyway, Drake Maye, I think he was 0-3 in bowl games. They were 9-5 and 8-5 the years he was starters. He was a full-time starter at UNC. They weren't a good team. They were terrible against good opponents. And he didn't do or win anything. But it was good enough. Being a prospect with potential was good enough not only to get taken in the first round, but taken in the top 3 of the draft. And compared, should it be him or should it be Caleb Williams? Caleb Williams was number 1. He didn't win anything either at USC. Jaden Daniels, he won personal awards. But when you're at LSU, when you're at USC like Caleb Williams, even North Carolina, not powerhouse, well, LSU is, you're playing with NFL offensive line. Look at the receivers that Jaden Daniels had in college. Was Malik Neighbors to his right and Brian Thomas had on his left. Both of those guys are probably top 10 receivers in the NFL right now after 1 year. That's what he was dealing with. NFL defense, NFL running back. Playing at LSU is different. Tom Brady, yes, Tom Brady at Michigan, the comeback kid. I used to watch him play, not because I was a fan of Tom Brady. I had no idea who that man was. But Charles Woodson was my guy. He's my favorite player. I love Charles Woodson. Watched a lot of Michigan's team. But again, Michigan is loaded with NFL talent at that time. They were one of the top teams in the nation. Loaded with talent. Tom Brady was playing with talent. Jackson Dart, who didn't win anything, went in the first round. Playing with a team with NFL talent. I think Ole Miss might have had 3-4 guys get drafted. That's an NFL team with high expectations in the SEC that was picked to be one of the top teams in that conference. Jackson Dart, before he got to Ole Miss, anybody remember him? He didn't always play at Ole Miss. Jackson Dart came from somewhere else. And because he wasn't getting any burn because he was trash, he had to go Ole Miss, get surrounded by NFL talent, looks better, and he still found a way to shoot himself in the foot late in the season and became a turnover machine when things mattered most. Tyler Shue, let's go to another guy taken before Shador Sanders. He played for 3 different colleges. I think he went to Oregon, Texas Tech, and then ends up at Louisville. The kid's like 38 years old and got picked before Shador Sanders with no upside whatsoever. Didn't win anything. And since when did we dictate college talent in the NFL draft based on if they won on the college level or won bowl games?
Brady wouldn't be a 6th rounder.
Thank you. He would have won in the first round.
Exactly.
Beating Alabama, winning the Citrus Bowl and all these things. Will Howard, who just won the national championship, would have been a top 5 pick if we're basing it on winning. But you know what they said? Will Howard, all he did was throw screen passes to Henderson, who just took back a kickoff for your Patriots. He was surrounded by NFL receiver to his right and NFL receiver to his left, 2 NFL running backs behind him, NFL left tackle, NFL right tackle, NFL defense. That's why Will Howard, they said, yeah, even though you won, what kind of player are you? Shador Sanders going to a program that the year before he got there had 1 win. They were worse than UMass. No, I don't jabs UMass. I'm sorry. They were a 1-win team. In 2 years, this kid's breaking conference records, led the conference in everything. He's completing 70% of his throws, and they went 7-2 in that same conference. And if they would have held on to win that game against Kansas at the end, they would have made the playoff. Instead, Arizona got there. So Arizona State, Skidabo and all that. I love Skidabo. That would have been Colorado if they would have held on to win one more game against Kansas. That's in 2 years after being a 1-win program that no one wanted to be a part of. Not saying this kid's going to be the next Steve Young or even Tom Brady. But when it comes to what he can do on the football field, all he can go by is what he did in the college level against the competition that was in front of him and what he was playing with.
Yeah.
It was him, Travis Hunter, and a bunch of guys that didn't have a face in NCAA 25. We don't know who these cats were. He had the worst offensive line and worst run game in the country and still completed 70% of his throws. 4,000 yards, 30, 40 touchdowns, whatever it is. He was a better player in college than the quarterback of the New England Patriots. And that's not really debatable. Playing with less. Drake Maye has all the physical traits. He's really big. I got to see him up close too. Drake May's a big dude with an incredible arm, incredible athlete. Everybody knows he plays like Josh Allen. If he would have played at Colorado with the talent they had in that offensive line, I don't think we would have heard about him being a top 3 quarterback. Jaden Daniels wasn't always at LSU. It took him to go to LSU, get around that elite talent at LSU for him to go from a guy in the transfer portal to a guy that's winning the Heisman. It's playing with talent makes you that much better. Now he gets in the NFL, and now he has a chance to showcase and show why he was worthy of the Heisman and worthy of being a top pick. Caleb Williams had all that talent at USC. He gets to Chicago, and you're like, it's not that easy when you don't have all that talent around you. He struggled a little bit, but Caleb Williams, I think, he's gonna be a good quarterback. But to sit here and say, this is the biggest argument with Shador Sanders, no matter time, that Jackson Dart, Tyler Shue, and Dylan Gabriel were worthy of being picked over him simply because some people thought he might have been flashy and showed his watch or because he didn't take an interview. It's real quick. I always think about this all the time. If you're going for a job and you got a master's degree from Harvard and you're going in for an engineering job at GE or IBM and you get a phone call from the supervisor at Walgreens, are you going to take that call?
No, I'm not taking that.
How are you going to treat him? Like, man, come on, man. Don't be calling me with that nonsense. Shador Sanders did everything worthy enough to get the phone calls from the teams picking in the first round and needed a quarterback. But yet you got Joe Schmo going up there asking questions and wanting to know, hey. And then he gets mad. He's like, oh, man, he didn't respond to me well. What are you talking to him for in the first place? You knew y'all weren't going to draft a quarterback. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like Kansas City's PR guy going to talk to Shador Sanders. Man, you got Pat Mahomes, man. Like, what are you doing, man?
Time.
You're wasting my time.
Yeah.
Or you're just trying to troll and find a reason to put news out there that I'm this evil person. And that's what happened with this kid.
The phone calls are rolling in. 617-779-0985. When we get back, some more Shador Sanders talk. Plus, I love this theory that Cerrone has about ownership here in Boston. We got to talk about that. It's 98.5 The Sports Hub.
You're listening to Leroy and Cerrone. Two local guys, lots of local sports talk. Leroy Irvin and Cerrone battle on Boston's home for sports. 98.5 The Sports Hub.
All right, welcome back. Leroy and Cerrone. Masterpiece Theater. The Tom Brady edition. We are on to clip number 11. Oh, this one's crazy. 2018 AFC Championship game at Kansas City. Brady throws for, he just put on a show. And again, the game goes into overtime. They win 37-31. And it was just a back and forth game. Very entertaining. Just phenomenal.
And it's relatively short, in fact, but it's going to take a bounce across the 35. Mishandled by Edelman. Picked up on the run by Dieter. Unencumbered to the end zone. On the muff, Garrett Dieter will recover at the 22-yard line. Julian Edelman.
Hold on.
Did he not touch it? The officials are going to give him the possession.
Edelman's arguing he didn't touch it.
Here's Clete Blakeman.
He didn't touch it on this one.
In the field is that the receiving team touched the ball, then it was recovered by the kicking team. There was enough, and there was no advance. Kansas City will be awarded the spot where they recovered it. First down.
Appeared to hop right over his arm. He's saying he didn't touch it.
The previous play is under review.
It will be reviewed. Here's Clete Blakeman. He goes to Andy Reid.
Chiefs aren't happy.
And Andy Reid isn't pleased about it.
Wow.
After review of the play, it's been determined that the receiver did not touch the ball.
Takes the snap, dropping back, throws it right underneath, off the hands of Gronkowski, intercepted. It's picked off, and then the ball comes loose from Charvarius Ward, careening out of bounds along the near side. An interception off the hands of Edelman, and then an interception off the hands of Gronkowski. There's a penalty marker on the other side of the field. There's Clete Blakeman, the referee.
Oh, my.
Offside. Defense. Wow. 55. Line up in the neutral zone. The 5-yard penalty. We play third down.
Off the left side of Brady.
Ball away.
Sets the protections. Waits on the snap from Andrews on 3rd and 10. In the pocket. Throws down the middle. Gronk makes the catch at the 20, and he's tackled on the shoelaces by Berry as he skids to the 15. First down for New England.
Oh, the drama. Perhaps that game goes, I think it might be top 3 most entertaining Patriot games of that era.
Yeah, because of the competition.
Oh, my God. It was just.
Because of the competition.
And the drama of the refs. This is why I don't want the human element taken out of sports. Mm-hmm. I don't want technology making calls and all that. At the end of the day, it's entertainment. We need drama in order for it to be entertaining. Yeah. That was drama.
And you need stars. You need key players. This game doesn't have the drama if it's not Brady Mahomes. It's not the same. Brady Manning meant it was different.
Oh, man.
Every snap was different. When Brady's going up against Kurt Warner, Legion of Boom, Russell Wilson, they were the hot thing at the time. You need characters to sell it. If this is, Jacksonville and Houston, it's
right.
not the same. It's not the same, but having stars and key players and key moments is huge and important. And, yeah, this is a great game.
You need polarizing figures. Mm-hmm. And I hate to tell you guys, but Shador Sanders is one of those polarizing figures.
But he shouldn't be.
And I get it.
He actually has done nothing to be polarized.
I know.
That's the do nothing part.
I know.
He hasn't done anything to be considered polarized.
Let's go to Jim in Methuen. He wants to talk about Shador Sanders. Jim.
Hey, Cerrone. Leroy, how y'all doing?
Good. How are you?
Not bad. Thank you. Hey, Cerrone, just want to correct you a little bit on the talent that Shador had to work with. You're talking like he was at Colorado throwing to Travis Hunter and a bunch of bums. He had 4 NFL-level wideouts on his team. He had LeJohntay Wester, he had Jimmy Horn, he had Travis Hunter, he also had Will Shepard. So all 4 guys are in NFL training camps right now. Meanwhile, he had Drake Maye over there in North Carolina. Not a single one of his weapons even got an undrafted free agent contract. So I get what you're saying. I like Shador. I think he deserves a chance to compete for a starting job, but let's not pretend he was just throwing to Hunter and a bunch of bums over at Colorado.
Appreciate it, Jim.
They were bums before they got to Colorado. That's why they ended up in Colorado. One-win team.
Except for Travis.
Hunter was the one he came with from Johnson, from Jackson State.
Jackson State. Mm-hmm.
And everybody knew Travis Hunter probably would have went to Florida State. We know Travis Hunter is him. Yes. Those other guys, they were elevated. They were Danny Amendola. They were the names.
Chris Hogan.
Mm-hmm. Brandon LaFell. Kimbrough Tompkins. He elevated them. He made those guys. No one knew if those guys, like you said, all 4 of them are in NFL camps, which is fantastic, by the way. All 4 of those guys are in NFL camps. If teams in the SEC and the Big 10 and Big 12 knew those guys were that good, they never would have made it to Colorado. They would have got the NIL bags and would have been playing at Alabama, Ohio State, and everywhere else. They ended up in Colorado because they had a chance. Maybe this is my chance to show off what I can do. That first year when they got to Colorado and everybody was buying the glasses and they was selling merchandise, the transfer portal was huge because everybody wanted to be a part of that. But no one knew these kids before they got there. And with this quarterback, it elevated them. Mm-hmm. It elevated those guys to a status to where, like, oh, man, that kid's pretty good. Those are some good players over there. But then there's guys on the flip, Will Howard, who played with guys that everybody in the building knew were 5-star guys to begin with. His offensive line was – Shador Sanders doesn't have any – that's not a 5-star offensive line. That's a 1-star. You're trying to start a franchise in NCAA 26. That's a bad – it's one of the worst lines we've ever seen.
Talk about Colorado.
Yep. His years that he was there. Elevated everybody. You guys are terrible. We're still going to score a ton of points every night. But this thing about what you did in college, did you win? Did you do this? We never picked players on that. You know who lost their bowl game last year as well? Cam Ward. Guess where he went? Number one. Cam Ward, he was at a different school. Cam Ward transferred to Miami to get a chance, his last go-round, to play with NFL caliber talent. He goes to Miami. Oh, man, this Cam Ward dude is great. Wow. He would have went undrafted if he'd have stayed where he was. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. But we didn't hold the fact that Miami blew it at the end of the season, blew their chances at a playoff, and failed against Cam Ward. We didn't hold that against him. But we do. Look, if you think Shador Sanders wasn't the first-round pick, he should have gone second, third round.
5th, though. My God.
The 5th round?
Yeah, that was cold. Cold-blooded.
Come on now. Stop.
And you know, we haven't even touched on this part. To be honest, if he continues to do a good job, he needs to get out of Cleveland because ownership doesn't want him. And did you see the clip of him talking to the reporter?
Yeah, it was like, you always dogging me out.
Yeah, George, you have that clip? Can you play that real quick?
I be hoping you got something positive to say about me. You always say negative stuff about me. And I'm like, I ain't do nothing to you. No. I ain't see nothing positive to ever say. What I do to you, Tony?
He needs to keep on performing, doing his thing, and somehow, some way, hopefully trying to work his way out of there.
No, because what's going to happen is, well, first of all, we mentioned, they could put him out there with the 4th-string guys, and they try to throw him out there last night. Probably hoping he shoot himself in the foot and then make it easier for them to make a move. But instead, he won the locker room.
I've been through that.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm. I've been in situations where you're thrown out there, and it's like, oh, no, hopefully you fail. And then all of a sudden things work. Oh, yeah, we always believed in you. And it happens all the time. If you think we're crazy, it happens in every walk of life, every job, and it absolutely happens in professional sports. Guys, you think you him? They'll throw you right out there in front of everybody, embarrass yourself, and humble you, and next thing you know, you're back wherever they want you to go in the first place. But he goes out there, he performs, does his thing, wins over the locker room, wins over his teammates. If he does it again in another preseason game, they're going to have some decisions to make. And then now they're going to look really silly taking, why you got 5 quarterbacks for? It's going to look bad on their end, but then ownership's going to come on and act like, oh, no, we always believed in him. He's been our guy from the beginning. It's going to be hard now to turn the fans off and the players in that locker room away from Shador Sanders, especially if he keeps acting like this nice guy when it comes to the meet. He was getting on that reporter, but he was smiling and laughing. He called him by his first name, and we'll see how this thing plays out. But if you don't think he's first round, I get it. But to sit here and tell me that Tyler Shue should have gone before Shador Sanders? That's ridiculous.
That's crazy. All right, let's take a break. When we get back, ownership here in Boston was up to something. and then the Celtics make a move. We gotta talk about that. Plus, your players' call is coming up too. I'm Leroy Irvin. He's Cerrone Battle. It's 98.5, the Sports Hub.
Stay tuned for more from Leroy. Now, Leroy Irvin and Cerrone battle. Leroy and Cerrone on Boston's home for sports. 98.5 The Sports Hub.
Pub. Masterpiece Theater, the Tom Brady edition. We are on the last clip. And when I look at the date, I get a little bit upset because I'm like, you mean to tell me it's been almost 6 years since this team been a real contender?
Legitimately, yes.
Like, come on now. February 3rd, 2019, Super Bowl 53 versus the Rams. Brady, 29-yard pass to Gronk. I remember this game was boring as I don't know what. But that pass to Gronk, you was just like, all right, they moving. They got it to the 2-yard line. I think we can pretty much say this game is over.
Tumbling to the 2. First and goal to go.
I just told you they're going to bleed him. He's going to dink. He's going to dunk you. He's going to set you up. The Rams, they can't line up. Brady sees it, and it's a 29-yard strike to the big boy.
To the big boy. To that T-Rex. To that Jurassic Park being called Gronk. What's up, Cerrone?
Watching that game, I remember the analysis afterwards is like, man, that's probably it for Tom Brady because he didn't put up big numbers. He didn't have the big. It was a low-scoring game, even though Edelman was killing in that game. He destroyed Keep to Lead. But everybody was like, man, that's probably it. What a way for him to go out. This man went to Tampa Bay, won another one, lighting it up. Like 4,000, 5,000 yards, 40 touchdowns. Like years later, it's like, yeah.
Crazy.
A long way from being them. We weren't any better than Max Kellerman after that. We were all saying, yeah, I think that might be it for him. But yeah.
Wow. Let's move on. We only got about 5 minutes left. Cerrone, you made a great observation this week. So I forget what day of the week it was, but the Red Sox signed Roman Anthony. Everybody's going crazy.
No, earlier that day, wasn't it the training camp in the morning? What happened? Was that the day Tatum was at training camp?
Okay.
Bon Jovi.
Oh, yeah. All right. Okay.
It was popping in Foxborough. Biggest crowd.
Yeah. And then, Cerrone, all right, can I just tell?
Go ahead, man.
Cerrone believes that ownership here in Boston,
I wish we had more time.
was very, very petty and are competing with one another. And now the floor is yours. Can you explain why?
Well, Foxborough that morning, it was like, man, the traffic, Route 1, the crowd. Man, Tatum's here with no boot. Oh, look. Training camp was popping. Out of nowhere, Roman Anthony signs his deal. It's like, wait, what? Just stole the headlines.
Right.
Then it's like, oh, yeah, by the way, Joe Mazzulla gets an extension. It's like, wait, come on. It's like, I've always felt this way. Man, I think this owners, maybe it's a friendly competition they have with each other, which would be dope if we ever find out the truth. Mm-hmm. Yo, these dudes be stealing headlines from each other.
They want the attention.
They're going to fight for the attention. Red Sox were doing their thing. They're winning, but that Patriots training camp keeps sneaking up and biting them. And they're like, what do we got to do? Yo, get Roman in here.
Yeah, let's do it now. We were going to do it tomorrow. But
John Henry reaching his wallet like, what you got?
Stealing headlines.
I got 30 million. What you got? Here. The stealing headlines. Let's sign him. All right, bet. Okay, I see what you're doing. And then Joe Mazzulla out of nowhere. The Celtics are like, oh. And it was like, Pags was like, yeah, I'm going to buy a WNBA team.
There goes another one. Yep.
Then it was like, we're going to get Joe Mazzulla extension. Like, wait, why? Where did this come from? It's like they fight for supremacy of who runs this town. And I think it's fun. I think it's great to see. It can be competitive. I want to see them fight, though, for wins. Who going to win the championship?
I think that plays a role in it.
It
I
does.
really do. I think they start to sense when the Celtics won. I think it was like, oh, okay,
we got to be more aggressive.
We got to be a little bit more aggressive.
Yeah,
hopefully. That's how it was.
I
when
think
the
they played a role
first
with the
won.
Patriots.
Yeah,
the Celtics winning, the Maye situation at the same time was like, okay, we got to kickstart. We can't rebuild.
Yeah,
we got to kickstart this thing and get in the DeLorean and move forward a few more years. And that's the whole Vrabel situation, spending money, free agency, all these things. They got to get back in the win column a little quicker.
Before we do the players' call, real quick, just your thoughts on Mazzulla. What are you expecting now that they've signed him to a multi-year extension?
Buyer's remorse. Just kidding.
Oh!
I'm kidding.
No.
I'm kidding.
No, Cerrone. You got to clip that. You got to get that. I need that.
I would have waited to see what it looked like without Jason Tatum, without Porzingis, without Drew Holiday. Now let's see if he can coach.
You're messed up.
I would have waited.
Buyer's remorse.
I would have waited.
That's good stuff.
Because now he signed whatever. They go out there and win 30 games. Oh, yeah, it was by design, whatever. But a lot of these coaches, you put them in situations where they're not loaded with talent, just like college quarterbacks, and they show you who they really are. But I want to see what Missoula looks like without this talent around it. But good for him. Local guy. He got the bag. He won a championship. He deserved every bit of the money that this man got. He came in and he did something that Stevens and those other guys could not do as head coaches.
That's true.
And he came in here and he won a championship and won it rather easily as well. And he won it doing it his way. Yes, give that man his bag. He deserves that extension.
All right, congratulations to him. And now it's time for the players' call.
Y'all want to hear my player call? I think, do you want to hear the player call?
Once again, this is the time when we take time to show love to someone who's done something phenomenal in sports or in our everyday lives. And with that said, if you don't mind, I just want to go first. Shout outs to the Braintree American Little League team. They're holding it down. They did what they had to do, and they are headed to the World Series tournament or whatever you want to call it. They play, I believe, Wednesday. I believe they play. I'm not. Let me just make sure.
Might be Thursday against South Carolina. I know.
Yeah. But anyways, congratulations to them. We're sending all of our love and support to the Braintree American Little League team. Cerrone.
And shout out to New Hampshire too.
Oh,
y'all count. Y'all in the, we all in this thing together. It's all New England thing. Shout out to y'all for getting that far. It's one of you had to win, but
that was an ugly way to lose.
It was a tough way to lose.
Connecticut advance out of the metro region.
Hey,
nice. Well, good for them.
Much love to them.
But go
as well.
Braintree. It's still Braintree all day. Cerrone, who you got?
Mine. This is gonna be shocking. Mine goes out to the Boston media, not us, not these radio people. I'm talking about the guys in the newspapers and print and the magazines, ESPNs and the Heralds and the Globes, Patriots.com. Players call goes to, especially you Patriot guys who cover the Patriots. I got a chance to sit in the press box and watch how you really operate. The hard work that they put in just for us to get basic information on players and what's going on does not get enough credit and respect. And shout out to all you guys, Alex Barth, the man, the legend. Gasper was up there. Go Chris Price, Mike Reese, Andrew Callahan, Tyler. All you guys deserve your flowers for what you do and getting us what we need to know about these teams. Because if you guys would have just gone on strike and said, nah, we ain't telling y'all nothing, we'd have nothing to go by when it comes to sports, except for what we see on Sundays. So big shout out to y'all. I got to see how hard you work, the early mornings and late nights, and the work you guys put in to get us that information. So my players call goes to all you guys in the media here. They just tell us what they see, folks. They're trying to see it, call it how they see it.
And there it is. That's it for today's show. We appreciate you guys. Live good, eat good, and please